Hello, my name is Michael Hooper, and this is my talk about painting in Paris and writing a book about it. I was a year ago at this very moment in Paris painting oil paintings along the Rue de Seine, um, the Luxembourg Gardens, the Pont Neuf Bridge, Place Dauphine, all these places that were within walking distance of my hotel, La Louisiane, in the Latin District on the left bank in on the Rue de Seine. It's a beautiful place. Here's a photo of the foyer and my room at the Hotel La Louisiane. This is a small efficiency. It was only $90 per night, and it was clean. A maid came every day. You can see I had kind of Venetian yellow walls, white ceiling, deep blue, French blue, ultramarine blue kind of curtains, and a French window that opened out to a courtyard. And they didn't mind me painting in there, so I painted in my room. You can see me there with a painting. This is my first painting in Paris. This is the Pont Neuf Bridge. It means new bridge. It was actually built almost 400, 500 years ago and no longer new, but they still call it the Pont Neuf. Um, this is kind of a famous location where many artists have painted over the years, and I went there with just absolute ecstasy at the time. I actually, the first day, I ran down here and had tears in my eyes. I couldn't believe the glory of the city, all the people, the cars, the art, architecture, just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I just was sitting here at the same location, drawing this same scene in my sketchbook, and was just thunderstruck at how beautiful. There's so many faces in the bridge. And one friend of mine told me that there was a king who liked um, to commemorate or memorialize his friends on the as faces on bridges, and there's a lot of faces on this one. Um, so can't go to Paris without experiencing food. Here's my friend Chris Welsh. He and I went out for lunch one day, and I took a picture of him and later painted him at this is Café La Maison. I kind of took some liberties with the whole thing, but that was a lot of fun. Here's the food that I was served. I had escargot, mushrooms, green beans, potatoes, and three lamb chops, plus bread. And of course, I could not eat it all. The escargot was like eating oysters, but a little tougher. And after a few of those, I was a little queasy and drank some water and felt a little better and kind of moved on to my main courses. Anyway, excellent food. French cooking is the bomb. I mean, awesome. Um, I painted too fast and too furiously, too much in 24 hours with my first painting, and then took a day off and went to Shakespeare and Company. And then the next day, I thought, I'm not going to miss another day of painting. So I walked to the Luxembourg Gardens and drew and painted this flower pot with my left hand only. I did not use my right arm at all. I'm right-handed, but I was fairly pleased with the outcome, and the experience introduced me to this beatnik, Jim Wallace. He used to live in San Francisco and hang around Allen Ginsberg and Gregory Corso. at City Lights bookstore, and Lawrence Ferlinghetti. And I told him, hey, yeah, I met Allen Ginsberg. I know him. Yeah, I've got several of his signed books. And we're like, yeah, we can. Suddenly we had a conversation together and became quick friends. And I told him I was going to be here for a month almost, and painting every day. And he said, I said, I'm looking for opportunities to paint along the Rue de Seine. And he said, well, I'll show you some great spots. And so we agreed to meet a couple of days later. And this is one of the spots he showed me, this turquoise bicycle by this little urban park on the Rue de Seine. And so I sat out there and painted this over 2 or 3 days, and had people come by and compliment me on it, and even had offers to buy it. I could have sold this one pretty quickly, but didn't. I just chose to take it home with me as a memento. Um, Here's my equipment on the left. You can see my easel, my chair, my palette on the floor, um, a shoebox. That's where I put my palette after I was done painting. And then I have my backpack, and I can put all of this stuff in my backpack and hike it back to my hotel. So it's pretty efficient operation. And I actually, you know, took good care to keep things clean, and had plenty of rags and whatnot. So I left no harm behind. And um, I went to several museums while I was there. On the way to the Pompidou, I saw the Notre Dame, and noticed it was closed. I had previously been to this church in 2005 with my family. And I went to the Pompidou and saw some Georgia O'Keeffe's. Loved that. Met my friend Christian Bayard in Paris, and did a portrait of him. I wrote during the day, um, and painted. So I wrote and painted off and on. And the way I would write is I would dictate into my phone the events of the day, and I also wrote it down in my diary. So that kept me kind of going. And when I got back to Topeka, I painted several more paintings, and really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. And then published the book. And then I took these techniques to Puerto Rico, and here's one of the paintings I did in Puerto Rico, plein air. This was a view of a house from our balcony in Boquerón, Puerto Rico. And nearby there was the cliffs of Cabo Rojo, and I painted those. Those paintings are here. And Heather and I went back to Paris and in the summer in July, and I saw my friend Clementine, and he liked my portrait of him and told my wife, "Don't take this wrong, but I really love his work," and kissed me on the cheek. So that's the way Paris is. We went to the Musée de Montmartre and saw the works of Susan Valadin. And here's Susan Valadin's studio. You can see the north window. It is just fabulous, neutral light. And then while I'm there, my friend Jim Wallace said, "Hey, where are you guys at?" And I said, "Well, we're at the museum at Montmartre." And he said, "Well, I live in Montmartre. I'll come see you." And so he came over, and visited with us and took us to this statue of this woman who is memorialized in a bronze statue. People put their hands on her breasts, and so they look real shiny while the rest of her looks decayed. And here we are traveling around Montmartre, and this is on the left is near Picasso's first studio, and then here's where we're sitting in the park, which is a very common pastime in Paris. And one night I went to the La Palette, which is a painter's bar and restaurant, and they have these reserved seats for their premier guests, and I sat there among the reserved seats and drew this little drawing while sitting there around midnight while drinking a glass of wine. We happened to be in Paris for Bastille Day, and this is the Pont Neuf, looking toward the Eiffel Tower at night with fireworks. Before Heather and I left, we went to Le Deux Magots and had this fabulous dinner. And that restaurant, Le Deux Magots, is where Picasso met Dora Maar in 1933. Very popular hangout for the artists and writers back in the day. Still is. Kind of touristy too. This is the view on the right from our hotel, La Louisiane. This is, we see this on the outside. This is the Seine. The one on the left is oil on canvas. The one on the right is watercolor. And here's Heather and I in Paris. Well, that concludes my talk about our travels with over the past year. And my final painting is of Heather at Le Deux Magots. You know how you get a feeling from painting in a place, you get kind of a vibe of, that place, and it stays with you for a while. It might always stay with you, or at least portion of that vibe. When you go to Edinburgh, it has a certain vibe, with the kilts and, the bagpipe music and so forth. Well, when you go to Paris, Paris has a certain vibe, and I caught it, and it stayed with me, and this is the last of my paintings of the Paris series. I probably did about 25 paintings associated with Paris. They did not all make the book, and some of them are in watercolors. And so anyway, it was a fantastic, beautiful, lovely experience, and I would recommend it to anyone. It was Paris embraces artists. People just come up to you and look at your work and want to buy it. It just seemed like I could go to work tomorrow, today or tomorrow. If I literally showed up and just started painting on the street there, I think I could sell, all of my paintings, because people love art in Paris and they want to buy it. And, there's a place I probably could just paint that bicycle on the Rue de Seine over and over and over again until I get it perfect and sell every one of them. Anyway, fabulous time. We'll take some questions now. Thank you so much.